Welcome everyone to the Tethys Shipyards. I am Takeshi Yamato, the Yard Master, joining our host, the Housecoat Gamer.
Yo.
Today we are redoing a class that we've done before, the Exeter-Class,
We did
because
we didn't
Mr.
do much
Morone,
lore, and well, the registry code for the Exeter has changed.
yep, not to mention this glorious new model courtesy of Mr. Morone.
I'm not actually certain Mr. Morone was actually responsible for making this model, but not that it matters.
Yeah,
We're going to thank him anyway because he's the art director, at least as far as we're aware. That said, I'm not exactly a fan of how they did it. I mean, reminds me too much of the STD Connie in a way. It's those wide-spaced impulse engines, the angle of the nacelle pylons.
well,
And
fair enough, but it's a new design, so I think it works.
it's a lot better than the old one. I just prefer
Yep.
my I just prefer my Constitution warp nacelles to be at 90 degrees instead of 100 or 120.
Fair enough.
Regardless, the
Regardless.
despite the fact that the Excalibur class, another development of the Constitution class, albeit utilizing components of the Sovereign class program, was doing its thing, Starfleet was looking to the future. They needed a new next-generation super capital starship. And while the Odyssey had been in development since the Dominion War began, thanks to the Borg and later the Dominion, priorities shifted after the war to reconstruction. After Voyager's return, however, the Odyssey-class program regained its impetus. And they needed to test new technologies they were going to be putting on the Odyssey anyways. Enter the Exeter-Class. Ironically enough, built off the hull of the original USS Exeter NCC 1664. At least I believe that is the registry code for USS Exeter. 1672. My apologies. That said, the old Exeter hull needed to be decontaminated. Yeah, they kind of threw it within about 100,000 kilometers of the sun in order to decontaminate everything.
Yep.
Fire kills everything after all.
Yep.
And stripped the ship bare, down to its bones, and then began modifying it. After reinforcing the structural bracings, introducing a few minor structural modifications, the ship was re-entered into service as USS Exeter 91672. Apparently they pulled what they pulled with the USS Stargazer. That said, the Stargazer has a bit of an excuse. It was a new build ship.
I gotcha. So
They
just
introduced some and
just
they began
typing that into
introducing
the
some new
doc.
technologies into it. Miniaturized warp coils akin to the ones used on that would later be used on the Odyssey class. Testing the new phaser banks, the Type 12As, quantum slipstream drive technology, new torpedo launchers. Hell, even the Type 14 shuttlecraft was being tested on this thing. Of course, like everything, the ship had a bit of a problem thanks to the Tal Shiar and their upper leadership, the Ziyat Vash.
Yeah.
Ever mentioned I hate the Romulan Star Empire?
You're not the only one. Good thing they're gone now.
Yeah, except they've been replaced with the Free State, and the Tal Shiar is still involved in that.
At least as of 2401. My personal headcanon is that Sela basically formed a movement within that and started a work to take power and return it into a somewhat imperial state, thus resulting in the new Romulan Star Empire, which only lasted until about 2409.
Yeah, and we all know who destroyed that. Regardless, the Exeter-Class's production was delayed by a good 15 years thanks to this. Once Utopia Planitia was reopened, and Mars was fired, as it were, the ship re-entered production as a new mid-weight cruiser-class vessel. Of course, there was some advancements in technology since the introduction of both the original Odyssey and the Exeter, so they underwent a few refits. The ship class fought rather well during the Klingon Federation War of 2405 to 2409. Mostly because these ships were more technologically advanced than most of their Klingon counterparts. After all, the Vorcha was starting to get a little long in the tooth.
Yep.
So, let's stat this thing.
Yep. I'm giving this thing an entered service date of 2383 for the prototypes. And since he said 15 years, I'm saying production proper started in 2398. So systems values as of the prototype stage are comms 9, computers 9, engines 10, sensors 11, structure 9, weapons 10. It has department modifiers of 1 point each in command, security, and science. It's a scale 4 starship. Has phaser arrays, photon torpedoes, and a strength 3 tractor beam. And like the original Connie, it has modular laboratories and rugged design. And it has a quantum slipstream burst drive. And for descriptor traits, we just have Federation Starship. I also have a note in the document that the registry number, about the registry number of the prototype, of the original prototype Starship, and all other ships have a number higher than that.
Well, as for descriptor traits, I would go Odyssey Prototype, because all the technology on this thing was tested on the Odyssey class.
Okay.
Well, tested for the Odyssey class. This thing was the tech test bed.
Yeah.
Remember that B-47 with the Uruguay engine that I keep mentioning?
I think so.
Yeah, think that. I love real-world examples for fictional stuff. It just makes it seem more real when things like that happen in real life.
Yep.
Regardless, that be the Exeter-Class. Credit to the art department at STO for getting this thing remade to modern specifications. Hopefully we get to see more ships like this in the future.
Yeah, I would especially love to see a modernized Sao Paulo.
I think we all would. Bye-bye.